Good morning and welcome to the video for Monday, August the 3rd. This is going to be a video for our upcoming fourth graders. Today we're going to be talking about some things working with algebra related to, so a review of what we worked on last school year, but looking at it in a slightly different way. So with me today I have Ernie, who's our half Greyhound, half Great Dane, and usually very excited puppy. So he is joining us today. Some of you may remember that he was a guest star in a couple of videos back in the spring. So let's go ahead and take a look at our examples for today. So we talked about area being the length times the width. Now up here you're going to see the word base, and the reason for that is as we do some more examples in fourth grade, and then definitely as we go into fifth and sixth grade, we are usually going to replace the word length with the word base. So that could be the top or bottom, because eventually what's going to happen is we will end up having a shape that might look like this. And so up at the top, I'm trying to draw a trapezoid. And so we would consider this to be one of and we would consider this to be another base. And so we're still going to use the same kind of formulas, but we would have to use two different numbers. And so to make it easier, instead of using the word length, we use the word base for the top and bottom. So anyway, with that said, we're still going to do the same thing we did last year, which was to do the length of this side times the length of this side. That's going to give us 8 times 8, which would give us 64. One other thing with fourth grade, we will be doing larger numbers than the ones that you may have memorized. I'm just choosing easier examples to save time. So for the perimeter, what we would do is we would use the length, or we could also say it would be the base, times 2. We have 1 here, and we have 1 here. And then we have a 3 on this side, and we would have a 3 on this side. So we would multiply these two numbers together, and that would give us 18. And then we would add that to the answer to 3 times 2, which would be 6, and that will give us a perimeter of 24. So this is the mathematical way to do it, instead of just writing the numbers and then just counting up, going around the shape. So just to practice some ways that we might use that, we have this example here. So we have 3 different problems. So the first one, we want to get a perimeter of 42. So right now I can do 9 times 2, which is going to give us 18. And then I can do 42 minus 18 to figure out what the total is for my other 2 sides, which would be the top and the bottom. And so once I do that, that should give me 24. And then I would divide that by 2. So 24 divided by 2 is going to give me 12. I know it's a weird way to write it in there right now. But yeah, what we're looking at, we would have 24 divided by 2 gives us 12. And so they wanted the length of this particular side. So when we go ahead and plug that in, we would get 12, 24, 33, and then 42. For the area, if we're just missing one of the lengths of the sides, we just need to figure out what the answer to 28 divided by 4 is. And the answer to 28 divided by 4 would be 7. And so that's going to be our height. For the area, again, we are working with doing 200 divided by 25. Sorry, that looks like a 6. And if you think about working with money, what we could do is count by 25s, like we would count quarters to get to $1. We're trying to get to $2 worth of quarters, and so that would give us 8. And so that would be the length of our base. So the last thing that we're going to look at is something that we did kind of at the end of the year at 3rd grade. And so there are 2 different ways that we could do this. I think one of them is going to be slightly easier than the other, so I am going to choose the way that's slightly easier, which is to go ahead and separate out my two rectangles by drawing a line here. And so to find the area of our two combined rectangles, what I can do is take the 5 that's already been written in here and the 9 that's been written in here for the top and do 9 times 5. And that's going to give us 45. And then I'm going to be adding that to the answer for my other problem. And so I am going to be doing 14 times 7. And so 14 times 7 is going to give us 28 here, carry a 2, and that would give us 98. So we would end up with 45 plus 98, and that should give us 143 for our area. And that would be in square feet, so our area would equal 143 feet squared, if we wanted to write it that way, instead of using the words. So those are the things I wanted to look at for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to have your parents send me an email, and I can try to explain that a little bit differently if you need help with that. By the time that we get to this point in the year, again, we're looking at all the way into next spring. With the math review books and so forth I've gotten, we should have had some additional practice with this, so it won't be like a year since the last time that you've seen it. So hopefully that will help. Hope your summer is going well. This is the last week that I'm going to be making videos. I'm going to look and see if there's anything else that I want to include on Thursday, but I think I've covered everything that I want to for this particular grade. So hope your summer is going well. I'm going to be using the next couple of weeks to get ready for videos that I'm going to be using at school. So hope the rest of your summer goes well, and check back on Thursday. I may have a new video for you. Otherwise, have a great rest of your summer.